Welcome everyone live from the Dutch Hall. I'm your host, Pete Van Dyk, coming to you live from Pine Grove, Ontario. Let's hear it. All right, thank you. There's my hot crowd. Tonight we welcome back to the show our horribly injured bartender, Paul Van Dyk. Let's hear it for him. Representing our house band, Nocturnal Emissions, we have Mike Bowe on guitar. All right. And tonight's guest, singer, songwriter from Montreal, Quebec, by way of Toronto, Ireland, and Winnipeg, Milo McMahon.
Yeah. All right. Love that.
All right, everybody. And now, the world premiere of Milo McMahon's new song, Breeze, in support of the upcoming album, Gone Too Long. Here is Milo McMahon.
Floating out to sea, and all the waves are crashing down on me. And if the sky falls tonight, I'll be the man with a golden heart. So if ever you're under the weather, I'll bring you soup to your bedside, and I'll write poetry so you can see the type of man that I can be when inspiration's biting me again. Oh, again, oh, again, oh, again. I'm a piece and you're a puzzle, but I want peace and you want trouble. So I'm falling down upon my knees in your breeze.
Woo!
All right, all right.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. Let's hit it. Theme song. All right, all right.
That's quite
Hey, there it is. The hot crowd's in. The hot crowd's in. All right. Welcome, everyone, live from Dutch Hall here today. I'm your host, Pete Van Dyk, as I said earlier, and we have got a great show lined up for you today. We are very lucky to have a person who's, every once in a while, like last week, we had the Iron Sheik. And, you know, the Iron Sheik was the biggest guest we've ever had on Live from the Dutch Hall. And but we got Iron Sheik, to truth be told, at kind of the tail end of his career, let's say. We had him when he was probably on his way down. We didn't get Iron Sheik at the height of his fame, you know, like when he was that guy on the back of my wall there, you know. We got Iron Sheik when he's kind of worn down a little bit and taking all comers. And Life in the Dutch Hall was allowed in to talk to him, right? But this is a little bit of a different story. This week we get a guest who's kind of on the other way, on the way up, you know, at the beginning of doing great things. You know, I think you probably have it within you, Milo, to be probably as great as the Iron Sheik. What do you think about
next
that?
Sheik?
The next Iron Sheik of music?
I don't know. You can only dream.
Yeah.
Man can only dream.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I'm honored for you to not consider me on the way down yet.
It'd be a shame, man, to be on the way down so soon.
Yeah, totally.
But I think that no, we're very lucky to have you because I have a feeling that in a few years you're not gonna you're gonna be a little bit too big to do my show. So
Anything's possible, but I don't know. I'm pretty flattered to be here. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
oh no, it's a great honor to have you. So today we've had last week I think when we had the Iron Sheik program on, we were without our bartender Paul Van Dyk, and Paul had come up with a concept to introduce a new segment to the show called Drink of the Week, right, Paul?
Yeah.
And this week, pardon?
Since I'm the bartender, I might as well do something back here, right?
Right, that's right. Now, last week you wanted to come up with a drink called the Camel Clutch, but you did not show up. You were horribly injured, right?
Yes, I was.
And so we missed you in the show. You were horribly injured. You can see by your hand it's horribly disfigured, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a smart move, right?
Right. And then a few days later, we got word that the great man from our house band, the Nocturnal Emissions, Mike Bowe, you know, internet darling, Mike Bowe is what I like to call him.
Internet darling.
Yeah.
Nice.
A big darling of social media posts a picture on Facebook of his horribly sliced open calf from a hockey incident, right?
Yeah, it was
So within 1 week, two of my crew were horribly disfigured, horribly injured, and it leads some people to suspect maybe foul play afoot, right?
I think so too.
Competing Norfolk podcasts.
What?
Competing Norfolk podcasts. Are
Well,
trying to
I
take
do you one
guys
more.
down.
The rumor mill is all a buzz in the media world about Live from the Dutch Hall's people getting injured, and some of the people out there, I think maybe the TMZs of the world, you know, the paparazzi, those sorts of people. I don't want them to start speculating about what's happened here. There's a lot of nasty rumors out there, and I just want to set them. I want to squash the rumors or quell the rumors. Is that a word? Quell?
Squall.
Squell? It's a bit, yeah, it's a good
Squash
one.
and quell. That works.
Squash and
Yeah.
quell the rumors. A lot of people say maybe this is a backlash from our feud that we began last week with the host of WS Daily, Bill Walishka, and his goons there in Kingston. Sent a couple of his goons down to disfigure my men, right? And to that I say,
They're vicious.
oh, I don't know if it's true or not. I know with my brother, that is probably a long shot that happened, right?
Infiltrated your rec hockey league
Yes.
7 years ago.
Did they
Just
do?
for this
Could it?
moment?
Could it be a possibility that was a tournament? No, Mike.
It was a tournament,
You were
yeah.
here in a tournament. Was there any teams from Kingston?
I don't believe there was any teams from Kingston, but I don't know if there was. There could have been a player from Kingston. A ringer maybe brought in.
Was there one guy whose helmet was or whose hair was too greasy to wear a helmet, and he was skating around like Ron Duguay?
Yeah, actually, the helmet kept coming off this one guy.
That could be our guy. That could be Walishka. So I mean, it's a long shot. I'm just saying. I wanted to squell that rumor, but I don't know if I have. I might add fire to
Keep
it.
it on the table.
Yeah, I might add a little bit of fire to it. So all I got to tell you is it's bad news. And they say these things come in three. We have two horrible injuries to my men, and the only man that's not here today is the man that writes the music for the show, Dave Charters, the Rooster. And Dave, we had him on watch 24 hours around the clock to make sure that he's okay, you know, because we don't want anything to happen to that. That's my holy trinity on the show.
He's already doing enough damage to himself. So
He needs a cheeseburger.
But who's ever behind this, whether it be Walishka and his team of goons, or whether it just be God himself that's frowning upon me for all of my irreverent religious talk that I do on the show, whatever it is, I wanted to tell you, just leave me alone. You know, like it's not working. The people are still here.
we still made it.
You still made it. You're not going to squash this Dutch Hall. You're not going to be able to stop what we've started here. We're only going to be getting better and better.
That's right.
So, Paul, can you just tell me right now what this is right here? This is your drink of the week?
This is a Mike's Irish Car Bomb.
Mike's Irish Car Bomb.
Yeah, but we veered from the real recipe with lack of Guinness.
lack of getting. It was an Irish car bomb. It's fitting. You know, Milo McMahon is here today.
So flattered that you guys would use that term.
Yeah, so we try to.
So honored.
Yeah. So we decided to do this today, but we've Dutch hauled it up because we didn't have the proper ingredients. What's in this?
We got some whiskey and Bud Light.
Whiskey and Bud Light. All right, let's hear it for
Nice
the
little mix.
the old Irish car bomb. Cheers, everybody.
Honored. Thanks, Mike.
Ooh, that does taste terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, actually, it's like kind of like whiskey light. It's whiskey light.
Mix my
It just makes your nose still. Yeah. Did you? That's a real sell or is that a fake shot?
No, it makes me mad at something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit of an
hangs
angry
there.
shot. Yeah.
right on my tongue.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know about a second one of those. I think I'll just. Yeah. I don't know about a second one of
Next
those.
week's better, right?
We can only go up
We
from
can
here.
only go up.
Yeah. It's a great. You don't want to set the bar too high, you know. So we've let that go.
it's a Norfolk car bomb.
That's
Norfolk
right.
car
No
bomb.
political
right.
motivations or anything. It's just some guy being a jerk.
Yeah, that's right. Like, we're not going to really car bomb a guy here in Norfolk County. Are you kidding me? You know, the most we're going to do is egg him, and then even then, he will apologize after and wash his car. So, anyways, with every week, we like to reach out to our listeners and try to get people to become more engaged with my program here. And we have a little segment we do every week called Feedback. We got feedback.
We got feedback.
Welcome to Feedback. We got feedback, everybody. Today's episode of Live from the Dutch Hall is brought to you by our proud sponsors at Rainy Media. You can contact them at www.rainymedia.com and see how Dean and his talented crew of storytellers can help you tell your story. So visit them at www.rainymedia.com. That's RAINEY media.com. Also, every week, our podcast is always brought to you by our friends at Amazon and VG Meats. If you go to my website, livefromthedutchhall.com, and click on the Amazon banner, anything that you buy on Amazon, they'll send me a few bucks back to help me replace mic cords and stuff that blow and stuff like that to help us keep us doing this.
It'd be real helpful.
And thank you very much. I should be getting my first ever check from Amazon. I'm getting pretty excited about it, eh?
Really,
Yes.
that is exciting.
Yeah, I've tipped the scales over $100 now. So things are going real well.
Over 100.
Yeah, real well.
Holy moly.
Over $100, yeah. Eat that, everybody else who thought that banking was the place to be.
Yeah.
Once you give everyone in here their cut, you're gonna end up with like $16 in the back pocket.
I think I might get a full. I'm not at least a 12 pack. I'm hoping a 12 pack out of it all. That's what I'm hoping. Just a little celebration for the crew and stuff. They do all this stuff for me. So, anyways, we're hoping that it's going to work out. Also, VG Meats always sponsor me every week, and they put a coupon on there. You can either go to Stony Creek or Simcoe. If you go to my website, print off the coupon, you can get a great deal on some good meats from the good people at VG Meats. So, thank you very much to all of our sponsors. And now we get into feedback. This week, we'd like to welcome new listeners. Last week was a real international week with the Iron Sheik. People started listening from all over the world. We got, I don't even know how to say this, P.I. Sancho, no? Poland?
Well, the Polskis
Yeah,
are
the
in.
Poland come on board, eh? I didn't think we had the Poles before, but now we have the Polacks, eh? Maybe that was because of the Ivan Putski references.
Could be.
It could be Ivan Putski himself, Polish power. Anyways, we also have Salem, Massachusetts, Honolulu, Hawaii, Fremont, California, Bem My Jidni. I don't even know how to
Are you
say
allowed
it.
to say that?
It's a swear word, I think. Minnesota. And we got Lindsay, Ontario, Blacktown, New South Wales, Australia, and Prague, Czechoslovakia. Very international week. Let's thanks to all our new listeners.
Yeah. That is diverse.
I think that's our booking agent in Lindsay, Ontario.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, I got a big following, Lindsay.
Lindsay, they love you, eh?
Yeah, I'm huge in Lindsay. It's because of our great shareholder, Jeff Kemp, is a guy. I know you don't know him. He's known to nobody except for this show. He was the first. He was the first man ever to donate money by PayPal. He went on PayPal and gave me $25.
Nice.
And he's been on his soapbox ever since. And he's not really from Lindsay, works there, but he lives just outside of there. But he's on his soapbox since, just telling us all that my listeners are a bunch of cheap bastards. Is what his words, not mine. His words, not mine. You know.
There's a bit of feedback.
Yeah, it is. It really challenged him. And I'll tell you, since the challenge that Jeff Kemp put out to the rest of my listeners and viewers on YouTube, we've had 0 people donate.
Still trying though.
Yeah, we had 0 people donate.
Honey,
Yeah.
honey, more honey gets all these, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think his approach was a little bit too aggressive, eh? But
Real straightforward.
yeah, is it too aggressive? So, anyways, we'll have to try to work on that. We like to recognize our supporter of the week. We used to call it the listener of the week, but now that we're on YouTube, we have to call it the supporter of the week. And this week's supporter of the week, which is actually a listener of the week because she listens, is Julie Franklin. Let's hear it for Julie Franklin.
Hey, Jewel.
Yes. Now, Julie listens. She works at Cami Automotive. She listens on the line, and she spoke to me on the weekend at a function, and she said that she was at the end of a long shift, and she said, thank you for the Chic episode because it kept me awake at the end of a long shift, and people in my department or whatever were asking me what I was laughing at all the time.
Oh, really?
And she says, you got to listen to this. You got to listen to this. And she's still trying to sell the show to those people who just won't have anything to do with it.
The work team doesn't want anything to do with
They
it.
don't want anything to do with it. No. But they're watching her laugh. So eventually they're going to be curious enough to listen to my show. So we're
Putting a smile on her face in there.
yeah. Well, that's why she's listening to the week. And she has been a very avid listener since the beginning. And she's given me feedback from time to time over the last year and a half or so since we've been doing this. So
That's awesome.
thanks again to Julie Franklin, listener of the week.
All right, Julie.
All right. So we got everything out of the way for feedback. The only thing that we do every week that we won't really have, we're going to let a little bit of the cat out of the bag. This show is not done on Thursday, which is when we normally do our shows. We're doing this on Tuesday because Milo's doing a show in Simcoe tonight. And it worked out that we were able to do this, to have Milo in. So the Haitian Dwarf is a listener of ours that's been since episode 1. He's listened to our program, and he usually gives us feedback every week. And this week we didn't have the time. I'm sure he's writing it, but he usually writes it on Wednesday or something. And so we don't have actual feedback from the Haitian Dwarf. We should probably have a theme song a bit.
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh, there he is.
We'll still honor him, right?
Hi-ho.
Oh, there we go. Hi ho, hi ho. We'll see how this goes if it's clean or not. I don't know what kind of guy you are. If this is going
I
to
don't
get
know.
clean or dirty.
Earlier I tweeted, I'm going on a podcast later. I'm excited because I think I can curse.
Well,
I wasn't sure.
yeah, I'm that way every week. I'm excited to come out here too because I think I can curse, and then some weeks I get screwed up. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not. I think we're okay though. I think we're okay. You just let it go. You leave it up to the masters of censoring and bleeping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They'll take good care of us.
Okay,
We can
cool.
say anything you want.
Isn't
You want
that-
to throw one
isn't
out?
that you though?
Well, no, because the audio show you can say whatever you want.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, it's YouTube more that we get a little bit. We were a bit more careful on it. Just because.
Well, look, I'll do everything I can not to fuck up your show.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Well
you.
played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Thank you.
Oh,
I think natural language is what's key though. Like whatever, I think if an F word slips out because you would normally say an F word in that situation, the F word's used properly, then it should be used. Like I have a niece of mine who is a terrific swearer. Now she's only in high school. She's too young to be swearing, but she's very good at it, So when she's swearing, you just you don't even notice it in conversation. She's just trying it out, like a high school kid. She just tries it out in conversation, throwing an odd swear word. And you're like, you used it perfectly. I have a hard time giving you trouble for it because that is the appropriate use of that word, So I don't really have a problem with swearing at all. It's gonna be tough for me, when your kids come up to you and they say like, how was school today? And they're like, yeah, it was good, but my teacher just fucked or whatever. Like I would say probably like, I get that, that is the appropriate use of the word, I know your teacher and then your teacher is fucked.
You really explained it nicely.
Yeah. I don't know another word you can use to describe that, other than that. But anyway.
Freaking heck, that's funny.
Anyway,
Hard to discipline that.
freaking heck. All right, so we still got our show going. That's good. So, anyways, the Haitian Dwarf didn't give us feedback this week. So I brought him up because I like to always pay tribute to him. But I wanted to ask you a question, Milo, because we have you here today.
Do I know any Haitian dwarves?
Well, that's number one. But I was going to ask you more. Do you have any? You ask your fans for feedback, right?
All the time.
All the time, right? And it's important, right? In today's world, if you want to promote your product, you have to form a relationship with your audience, right?
Exactly.
And so, do you ever have people that respond to you using a fake alias or something that people would question their existence? Like my this Haitian dwarf, he's been with me since the beginning. I've got listeners of the show and people that watch the show who are up in arms, angry that he's fake.
Oh, they think you're a fraud. Do they think you're making it up or somebody else is making it up?
They think he's made up.
They think the whole thing is made up, and they think that that this Haitian dwarf is not Haitian and not a dwarf. And some will question if he's even a listener of the show or just something that I write every week.
Oh my God, like he could be a tall Norwegian is what they say.
Yes, exactly.
Whoa, well, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know.
When you get it,
I don't know if they're fake because it's all on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
People who come up and shake my hand. Like we walked down the street today, nice man came up, shook my hand, Milo McMahon, looking forward to seeing you tonight. I was like, oh, God, not again. I'm just trying to get a goddamn coffee.
yeah. You can hardly move around here. Yeah.
Barely even made it through
move around the streets of Simcoe, man. It's insane.
Even in Pine Grove, we had to have us three escort you in to get you away from the adorning
You
fan.
barely even get in the driveway.
It's like, isn't this a little early for the St. Patrick's Day parade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just Milo McMahon's
here.
walking to McDonald's.
Oh, it's a big deal. The last guy we had into town that was of your stature, I think, was who have we had?
The Haitian dwarf?
He has never been into Norfolk County, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think we've ever seen him. No. We've been trying to get him.
Oh, so it's a bit of a mystery to you guys too.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you can't conclusively say.
I can't say if he's
neither here nor there.
You got to shake his hand.
I have to eventually meet him and have my picture taken with him, throw him against a Velcro wall, and then people will believe me, and only then.
I'd say we should pay for him to fly in, but. You know,
how
many Amazon coupons is that going to take?
A lot.
Well, maybe if we had it on, we could get more PayPal donations if we really had the Haitian dwarf step up and say, with so much, I would come, because then maybe the haters and doubters could come.
Maybe we could
board.
auction like a chance to meet the Haitian dwarf.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Done. Write it down.
Great ideas. Great
This is why we had you in Nocturnal Emissions. That's the other thing I want to talk to you about, Milo, is that Dave Charters is the man that writes music for the show. I know you don't know him, but he's a legend in music writing for podcasts that are not very popular. And
he's a legend.
Yeah. And so Charters isn't here today, but we had you sit in for the Nocturnal Emissions. You're the first person ever to sit in on that super group. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Theme song.
I was flattered. I mean, when he was going E-G, I was like, I think I know what's going on.
Crazy.
But then he went up to the A, and I was like...
Yeah, that's Dave.
You gotta know your own limits.
Yeah, Charters will blow your mind if you pay attention. You keep watching the show, you're gonna see what he does. You should hear the banker story with Pete Jangle he put in. It tells my whole life story.
It really gets wild.
15 seconds. That's the kind of genius we're talking about here. Anyways, so that is feedback. We got feedback for this week.
Very nice.
Thank you very much for listening. And so that brings us to our guest of the week. Tonight's guest is here to promote his new EP, Gone Too Long, which is the follow-up to his debut full-length album, Big City Hustle. This marks the biggest step forward for the 27-year-old singer and guitarist since he started recording music in 2007. Produced in conjunction with Dave Neufeld from Broken Social Scene. Way to go. That's a big guy.
Thank you.
McMahon has truly established his own voice and sound, bringing this record to life with help from members of Montreal's Sons and Blood and Glass. He's a native of Winnipeg, Canada, and has spent his formative years in Ireland, and now is settled in Montreal. McMahon's regular touring schedule has resulted in an inspiring, high-energy live show. Please welcome tonight our very special guest, Milo McMahon.
Woo!
All right, there we go. I even got the effects in there. All right. So Milo, when I started looking into you, I have to admit, because of the amount of stuff that's on the internet nowadays and stuff like that, it's hard to. I didn't know. Wasn't really familiar with what you were doing, to be honest with you.
What rock have you been living under?
Yeah, but then we watched it, and I actually I asked Mike, can you please look at his website and listen to his music and tell me what you think? Because Mike's the frontman of the great band Crown the Lion. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know if you've heard of them.
And their EP Small Town Breakdown, it was the band that took Norfolk by storm. I don't know if you know that. That was Crown the Lion. They're right on the wall right there. That's them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice image.
Yeah, that's right.
Good font.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For the
really dug deep
Staples. They're great. They didn't even pay me. I just give them the plug, right? So, anyways, I looked into it, and the music is great.
Yeah.
You're really good. Like
Oh, thanks,
so,
yeah.
and it's like what's nice is that you're young, and I'm old, right? Like
Right.
I'm like older, like kind of gross old. And when like I always thought my prejudice against the young people
Right.
is that they've given up on rock music, and with you coming out, and it's sounded very familiar to me. Like it sounded like it had the same roots of the stuff that I grew up listening to, and
Yeah.
kind of had the same sort of melodies and stuff that was the kind of music that I like. So
Yeah.
it was really easy for me to like you because it's the same music that I like.
It's kind of interesting. The more outside of big cities that we go, the more we get that kind of response.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you find in big cities people really want to be really progressive, and you've got to be doing something completely different, and have someone playing the harp upside down with their toes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For it to be like, oh yeah, they're doing something really cool. A lot of what I'm into is rock and roll, Neil Young, Beatles, Velvet Underground, like a lot of classic rock. There's also a lot of Radiohead and modern influences and stuff like that, and then guitar stuff like Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante, and but there's the more, like I said, the more we go to the countryside, or just outside of the big cities, more people are like, that's what I like, that's what I've always liked,
Yes.
and you're doing it, but you have a different. I'm obviously telling my own stories.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's not the first time I've heard that.
So you grew up in Winnipeg, right? You were born in Winnipeg?
Actually, I was born in Ireland. I moved to Winnipeg when I was 1.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like something different,
Yeah. You're getting sick
Just
of
get a little,
Yeah.
a little change of scenery. And then I lived in Winnipeg till I was 11. So I grew up, for all intents and purposes, a Winnipeg kid.
Right.
But I had gone back to Ireland for summers and stuff. And then all of a sudden, when I was 11, my mom was like, that place we've been going and visiting in Ireland, well, we're moving back there.
Oh.
So then it was like, all of a sudden, I'm an 11-year-old kid living in this small town south of Dublin. And, like, I go to school and, like, in Winnipeg, school was very, like, progressive. And you weren't even allowed to make fun of any kids in Winnipeg, because it was just, it was all so progressive. We could wear whatever clothes we wanted, whatever. All of a sudden, you're in Ireland and it's like, you got to wear, you're like 11 years old, you got to wear a shirt and tie and the right brown shoes. And you go into this school that's got no playground and just, like, no grass.
Really?
Yeah.
And this is a country school too?
This was in a town, in a small town in Ireland. Not
Right.
that small, but yeah, called Bray.
So was that also a culture shock for you? Not just to mention the fact that you're going from Canada to Ireland, but also from a bigger city like Winnipeg to a smaller town?
Yeah, exactly. That was different too. And then just Irish culture is like completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, they have nothing in common. But hockey dictated my life. I was a Winnipeg Jets fan.
Yeah.
Teemu Selanne. I still have a handwritten note from Teemu Selanne.
Do you really?
On orange construction paper. Yeah, Chris King, the captain of the Jets at the time, his daughter went to my elementary school.
Oh, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a testament to like what somebody, if you just ask for something, like I went to the kindergarten teacher and I said, here's a note that I've written for Teemu Selanne. And she had a kid in her class
Right.
whose dad was the captain of the Jets. Right?
Yeah.
That's the only connection.
Right.
I gave her the note. She gave it to Chris King. He gave it to Teemu. Teemu read the note. He wrote me a note in response.
Right.
Gave it to Chris King. Chris King brought it back to the school, gave it to that teacher. That teacher gave it to me. 11-year-old kid.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
What did it say? Stop writing me, kid?
Said to Milo. Thanks for your kind letter and all my best, Teemu Selanne, number 13.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
It was just a nice thing. I mean, he was probably, 21 maybe at the time.
Oh, yeah. And scoring
But-
70 goals?
76 goals.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So that was a culture shock. Moved to Ireland. There was no ice.
Right.
It was just like there was some frost on the grass.
So it was more of
2
a
or 3
soccer
days.
culture for sure, right?
Yeah.
Did you get into that?
Well, I had been playing soccer in the summers in Winnipeg. 'Cause Winnipeg, it's hockey and then soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like 6 months of each. And then I'm like, oh, soccer, I can play soccer. And then it's like, holy shit! Like you'd swear to God, you're literally playing for Manchester United.
Well, yeah,
the
'cause-
serious, like the intensity level at age 11.
Right.
I mean, we had managers and assistants to the assistant managers on this like local soccer team, and it was like the competition was so fierce to even be a sub for
Right,
the
right.
games. I mean,
Yeah.
it was crazy. And these grown men shouting at you because you're not running hard enough. You know, in Winnipeg, it was like, let's all do the best we can and eat slices of oranges at halftime.
Yeah. Gatorade gum.
Exactly.
Yeah, whereas if you were to be playing hockey in Ireland, let's say in the one arena they have then you'd be probably the same way. You know, you guys would be goofing around playing hockey, just trying to get ice
Exactly.
time, and then you come over here and they'd be like, "What? These guys are like militant about it."
Exactly. And there was one rink in Dublin. My mom brought me to it, and I played. And they asked me to join the men's junior hockey team, the Irish men's junior hockey team. And
Oh, yeah?
I was 12, but it was a case of like once every month we would drive up to Belfast where they had an actual rink and practice like once a month, and then do one tournament a year. And I was like, this is just. It's not worth it.
That's why they're not in the Olympics for hockey, Ireland,
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
exactly. Because they're recruiting 11-year-olds to play on the senior men's team.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a real culture shock. Then I got into basketball actually, and then won a national championship doing that.
Oh yeah. Did you grow just to switch gears a little bit?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a musical household when you were a kid?
No, there wasn't much music being played. Like my parents didn't play any instruments, but my mom was like a huge Beatles fan.
Oh, yeah.
She saw the Beatles 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Which not a lot of people can say. Yeah, she saw them in Vancouver twice and in Portland, Oregon once. She grew up in Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
Which is like unbelievable. But, you know, she couldn't, you didn't hear anything. It was just like Paul would start talking and everyone would be like, shh, and he'd be like, okay, this next number we're going to play is called She Loves You. She Loves You. And then it's just,
Yeah.
you can't hear anything.
You
And
can
then-
just watch them over the screams, you know?
yeah, the PA was just not loud enough for how much the screaming was. So
E-
my mom
even the
had told-
Beatles, so they couldn't hear it, eh?
Yeah, the
even-
guys on stage couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool stories like that. And then my dad would play a lot of Neil Young in the car. That was like Neil came back, his big resurgence with Harvest Moon.
Right.
So we'd listen to that record, and his 2 favorite records were Harvest Moon and Appetite for Destruction.
Oh yeah.
Those were the two like things that. So when I'm like 12 years old, it's one or the other on the tape machine. You know?
Yeah.
Sweet Child of Mine is my dad's favorite song. So that was kind of cool. And his brother was a famous accordion player in Ireland, still is.
Oh, yeah.
And has played with, you know, the Dubliners and like all these like big Irish bands and toured the world and stuff.
So I read somewhere that you started at a young age playing tambourine in your brother's band. Is that or was a
That was the first time I like got on stage. My
Right.
brother was 12 years older than me. So when I was about 11, it was like just before I moved to Ireland. My brother was doing a show. He was probably 22, and he brought me on stage, and I played tambourine. And I remember the drummer. Oh my god, so funny! Right before I'm about to go on, the drummer turns to me. He goes, "Hey, just keep it simple, all right?
you know what your show
Don't
was?
get too busy on the tambourine." This like 22-year-old guy just shooting down this 11-year-old
Yeah.
before he starts. I'm like, okay, I think I got this.
Did you
Hey,
start
hey,
out with a really wicked tambourine solo?
Yeah, like what am
Yeah.
I gonna do?
We saw the Foo Fighters do a triangle solo
Yeah, we
the
did.
one time,
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
that was great. And they played it like the acoustic set, and the one guy played a triangle solo the whole time. It was actually It was great.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's funny.
To be able to make music from where you don't see it, like you don't really see it coming, that was
Yeah.
a real nice treat.
And to make something which is always used as a punchline, as a joke,
Yeah,
an
yeah.
actual instrument like that, that's great.
Yeah, and it got the crowd going. Like the crowd, he really knew how to. He got into it like at
Dancing
the end.
around, oh,
Yeah.
Was it Grohl who was playing the triangle?
No, I think it was. I think it actually might. I don't know who
Was
it
it
was.
Danny Clinch?
I can't remember anymore.
I
who
forget.
it was. It was a number of years ago now.
Yeah.
Cool.
I can't. It wasn't Grohl though. It was someone from the
No.
band. But
Yeah, he was playing like the all the little percussion, like the egg and
yeah.
all those sorts of things in the background.
Sounds like fun.
It's pretty neat.
So when you go over to Ireland, you played in a band in Ireland though, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And would you notice then when you start? What was the name of that band?
The Popular Front.
The Popular Front. I mean, were you the lead in that?
Yeah, you know, I would probably sing 60% of the songs. It was kind of like I had a best friend, and we just wanted to play guitar. We both just wanted to be like John Frusciante in high school.
Right.
So one day I heard him playing Under the Bridge, and I was like, hey, I know how to play Scar Tissue, and we showed each other the songs, and then we were like, let's do that, like let's play together like Flea and John do. So we did that, and then one day we realized, like, if we're gonna do any shows, we got to sing something.
Right.
So I never had any ambition to be a singer. It was all about playing guitar for me.
Oh,
And
yeah?
then we started this band, and I had to sing. I'm like, all right, I'll sing, but only half of them. You got to sing the other half. And then we both kind of that's what pushed us out of it and started playing shows when I was like 18, and then when I was like 20, we won the Battle of the Bands at our university.
Oh yeah.
So then all of a sudden it was like 20,000 people in the university, and there's posters for us all over the place, and we were given these opportunities to open for all the big Irish bands that would come play the student bar.
Oh yeah.
And the student bar is like, I mean, you know, it can be tough these days, you know, say you're playing Toronto, to pull people out to a bar to come see you. But in that atmosphere, it was like, student bar, kids were going there anyway. Kids were always going there. So we were playing in front of 400 or 500 people like regularly, like every 2 weeks or so, and getting paid by the university. So that's where I really got bitten by the bug.
Because then you could know that you could actually get a few bucks in your pocket, and you could actually start
Exactly.
seeing it more like work.
Yeah, and we got enough money then to come over to Canada and do a tour. We went from Winnipeg to Vancouver and back.
Oh, really?
And these guys, we were 21. These guys had never been in North America before. And
Oh,
all of
yeah?
a sudden we're touring. We played the Railway Club in Vancouver. We played Sled Island Festival in Calgary. We got a bunch of like good gigs.
Do you notice a difference with the people, like when you go to play a gig, say in Ireland, or you go to play a gig in Canada? Would there be a difference as far as the respect that you're shown as a musician? Like
You know,
in Ireland,
you notice that even between Montreal and Toronto, you know.
oh really? Depends on the crowd then.
Yeah, it depends on the crowd, because, like, you know, take Montreal and Toronto. We find the shows we do in Montreal, you get a lot more people sitting or maybe standing, but like they're like, this is going to be a good artistic show. Like, I want to see what these guys are doing and really pay attention to it. Whereas in Toronto, it's usually more like, all right, I left the house. I'm working tomorrow. This is a night off. Let's go out. Let's have fun. I want to see these people. Like, there's everything you do in Toronto. I've lived in both cities for 3 years now. Everything you do in Toronto is much more like you make a choice that you're going to go do this thing, and it's like things are almost more regimented. Not for everybody.
Right, and they're
but it's
probably
just a
doing
function.
10 things at once when they're there. Like they got to
Yeah.
meet with their friends and get to do this.
Exactly. And there's just so much going on. There's so much competition for your time. You
Yeah.
know? So, you know, in Montreal, that's a little bit less so, and there's a little bit more emphasis on just sitting down and listening to the music. So, but that's not to say the Montreal shows are better necessarily, because sometimes it's just fun to go and have a bunch of people that just want to party.
Yeah. Right.
So that was like the last show we did in Toronto was like that, and it was great. And then go to Montreal, and it's like a totally different set, but it's also awesome. But we're going to Europe in the fall, so I haven't toured Europe as my solo project yet. So, you know, the music is at a much higher level than what I was doing when I was 19, 20 with the Popular Front. So
Right.
we'll have a much better idea when we go there in the fall and we do shows.
Cool.
Oops. Sorry.
Oh, it's the Haitian Dwarf.
That's
Yeah,
Haitian Dwarf. You
there
must
it
have heard
is.
we were talking
There's
about
his
him.
We were
message.
talking
Yeah.
about him.
Hey, I have a
remember.
question. You know, when I was in Ireland, I went there only for 4 days. Okay, so my experience in Ireland is a lot less than yours. I was going to school in England, and I went over to Ireland, right? And I learned on the train ride over, or the ferry ride over, I sat with an Irish guy,
Okay.
and we learned a song called The Rooster. Do you know The Rooster? Have you ever heard of it?
probably
There
know it if I
was a chicken, no eggs would she lay. There was a chicken, no eggs would she lay. The wife says, honey, it sure is funny. You're losing money, no eggs would she lay. But then the rooster came into our yard, and he caught that chicken right off. You know, it goes like that. And then, then
What
there's
happens between the rooster and the chicken?
she's laying eggs now, like she never did now. Right? Ever since that rooster came into our yard. And then there's a moo cow. There was a moo cow. No milk would she give, right? There was a moo cow. No milk would she give. The wife says, honey, you know, same thing. But then the rooster banged the cow too, right? And then the cow's laying eggs now and all that stuff. Anyways, I learned that, you know. I learned that song on the train, and I loved it. I thought it was a great song, and I was really excited to learn a good Irish, you know, song you could sing in the bars. And so we went to Temple Bar, and we went and I started bringing up, hey, you guys know the Rooster? Because they're all singing songs at the bar, you know, all the arms around each other, traditional Irish stuff. And I go, what about the Rooster? And they're like, that's a funeral song. You don't sing it at the bar, you know, it's a funeral song. And I said, what do you mean it's a funeral song? The chicken's having sex with a cow and they're laying eggs and all. It's a fun song. It's not something you sing at a funeral, you know. But they said it was a full pot to sing in the bar. They said you sing that at a wake.
At a wake.
Yeah,
It's about new beginnings.
maybe maybe you're married to a chicken, and then all of a sudden the chicken passes away, and you think a nice moo cow.
Oh
right?
my God, I don't.
The last one was I didn't even understand what the third verse in that song. There was an animal that I don't even know what it was, but the chicken but it was laying eggs by the end of it. I'll tell you that.
Whatever it was.
Whatever that animal was, some
platypus,
Irish animal that I didn't know what it was. It was like I asked the guy to repeat it 100 times, like there was a nerf, and then I didn't know what the hell he was saying, you know. But then, anyhow, I didn't know if you heard that song.
No, I've never heard of that one. But we've done a couple of traditional Irish songs on tour. I like to bring in that sort of vibe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because it's something a little different that not every band touring around is doing.
yeah.
So I got one song I do which is totally a cappella. There's no music at all,
Oh, yeah.
and it's almost like a slam poem.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like it's got a melody, and so I'll do that one. I'll probably do that one tonight,
Oh yeah.
which is 2 nights ago to our listeners.
Right.
Yeah. And so, like, I have a question then. So, when you come, you come over to Canada, then you were in a band, you were in Ireland in a band, and now you're a solo project, right?
Yeah.
So, was that difficult for you to make the transition from being part of a collective group to then being like, well, your name's on it, so you pretty much have to act as the dictator, don't you?
Well, yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, that was difficult. I mean, I kind of thought I was a big fan of Broken Social Scene and Arcade Fire and all these Canadian bands that were coming over and touring, and this is like early mid 2000s, and so I kind of got this idea, and I like talked my way backstage because I had a Canadian accent, so I managed to actually get backstage and meet all these bands just by virtue of having an accent. And I mean, literally, like I got to know the venues because we would play some of these venues,
Right.
and I would know where the backstage door was, and there would be the password to get in the door, and I remembered it from doing the show like the week before or something, and then you walk into I don't know, Broken Social Scene or Metric's dressing room,
Yeah.
and then you're like, what do? You just gotta pretend like you're supposed to be there. Where did I put those towels? God. Anyways,
Did you?
Milo.
Yeah. Is
So
that how
anyways,
you
I
met?
all these bands? Yeah.
Is that how you got connected with Dave Neufeld, or?
Actually, in Neufeld, I might have met him on one of those occasions and not really known it, but I met him at a panel discussion he did about getting funding from the government and such for projects, and I talked to him, and he was very approachable, and he had actually been working with a friend's band from Ireland who had just come over, so he mentioned during the talk he was working with some Irish band. I said who was it, and then we were friends and whatever. Gave me his email address. Kept in touch, and I said, well, look, if I ever get this funding, because it's expensive to work with somebody like that, you can't just...
Yeah.
You're not just going to pay that cash out of your own pocket. So I just kept applying for these grants and putting new material in again and again, and then eventually last year I got some funding. So I emailed him, and he was like, let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then he's got a studio that's like a church converted into a
Oh
recording
really?
studio.
Right
Yeah.
in Montreal?
No, it's actually between Montreal and Toronto. So it's like, along the 401 there.
Oh yeah.
And it was just, it's really cool. And
So again, another example where this stuff is a lot of good stuff is being made outside of the big centers, right? Like you don't
Exactly.
really need to be.
no,
And
you don't
the-
necessarily need to be. There are a lot of advantages to being in Montreal, though. I'm surrounded by people who are doing really high quality stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inspired by it. And two of the guests that you mentioned, Soons and Blood and Glass, they're just, I mean, they came in and Joe, who plays in Soons, played lead guitar and did backing vocals on the record. And Lisa from Blood and Glass did backing vocals as well. But I mean, those guys are touring, like, especially Soons, they're over in Europe doing big shows. And they're, really successful Montreal band. To have somebody like that able to come in is, an honor, and you might not get that if you're playing in, Norfolk.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with Norfolk,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying that there are
Right.
unique opportunities that come up.
Yeah, you
For
get Jerry
example,
Dodd in Norfolk. Jerry Dodd, you know him?
He
He played on
bass-
Cat
bass
Scratch
player?
Fever with Ted Nugent. He did. He lives in Port Dover, Ontario.
That's
I think it's Jerry Dodd. You know, no one knows Jerry Dodd.
No, but that's just. I mean, that's more of a function of that. What.
I threw you off with Jerry Dodd. Cat Scratch Fever is a great song. What?
Does he play a mean harmonica?
No, I think he is a guitar player playing with Nuge. I think he even played with Journey. I think he's got some credits with Journey
Wow,
too.
I guess the moral of the story is there.
He's right there.
Don't stop
Also, and then we have Rick Danko.
Yeah.
You can't deny Rick Danko's greatness.
Where's Danko? Let's go get him in here.
Well, he's dead. He's dead.
It's unfortunate.
That's right.
It's unfortunate.
Oh my god,
He's very dead.
I forgot that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he
that's
used to live
sad.
right down the road from me. Like really, like I
When
could.
you drive back to
Watch the
Simcoe,
video.
You'll see a picture of him on the road. Yeah.
I watched a
The
video of him
Metropolis
like
of
the other
Blaney.
day, and I must have just thought like, oh, it's still alive.
It would be great if he was still
Oh,
alive,
yeah,
but no.
that's totally right.
He died.
That's embarrassing.
They're mostly all dead now. I think the band. I think
Robbie's
Robbie
still
Robertson's
alive.
still alive, and Garth is still alive. I think.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. Most of them, Levon's dead, and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so that's a real downer. Did I bring that up, or did you bring that up?
I mentioned you mentioned Rick, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mentioned
You mentioned
that
his
he was
death.
still alive because you said you should get these guys to play on your record. Yeah, why don't you get Rick to posthumously come in?
So I have the other thing I want to talk to you about, which is the other interesting side of the story. Like there's obviously your music career that's interesting, but to me the other side that's interesting is the tree planting side of it.
Right.
Because number one, you don't hear a lot of musicians, singer-songwriters who do most of their writing planting trees in really remote spots.
Yeah.
So, and I used to tree plant myself, actually.
You know, I listened to the podcast with you and Tanya talking about it.
Oh, did you?
From Culture Rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, so you know what it's all about.
So did you you planted, like there's one video you have on YouTube that I watched, which I thought was really awesome. It was the shoot, I should have wrote it down, but it was the tree planting one where you helicopter into
yeah. The Mirror is the name of that song. Yeah.
the mirror.
Yeah.
It's great song, and the video is super cool because it just brought me right back, except for I didn't get flown in by a helicopter. But where was that? Was that
Yeah, you know, when I saw you flying around in that helicopter, it really reminded me of trudging through the mud up to my knees.
we
Yeah,
took a
it's just-
truck and then killed rabbits. That's all we did.
Oh, God.
But we by accident mostly.
Mostly.
But you do start to lose your mind in the bush, don't you find?
You start to lose your mind a little bit. You know, a lot of that stuff happens early on.
Right.
If you can make it through the first 3 or 4 seasons and get better, then you become golden. You know?
Better at dealing or better at
Better at
planting?
tree planting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The tree plant, you're like, becomes a point where your happiness is directly connected to the per second average tree number, or how many seconds it's taking you per tree. In
Yeah.
other words, if it's taking you 3.5 seconds per tree, you're like, okay, but if you're getting them in 2.5 seconds, then you're happy. That's like a weird feeling to have.
Yeah, I know what
your
you mean.
happess is directly connected to how smooth these things are
Yeah.
going into the ground. Once you get to that point, you don't really have time to worry about all those other things like, isn't it lonely out here? Oh, I wish there was internet. Your mind is just working like it's just a database that's like adding up these numbers.
Right.
It's just a money grab. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and ours, I never seen people get so angry about the ground they were given. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
So, like in the morning, you get this is your plot, and they'd always give the best one to the best planter,
course.
and then kind of move down the list. So, if you did a good job the day before, and you're getting a piece of ground, you look at it and you don't like it, like you get really angry about it.
Yeah.
Like at least my crew did, and we came to blows. Like it was like it was a real big deal when you'd like plant into another guy's cream.
Oh yeah,
know?
because the softer land is called cream.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then if you go and take somebody else's cream, you're creaming them out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just like, man, that Ryan, that Kyle,
Yeah.
John, cream me out.
Oh, I had a
God
guy.
damn it.
Yeah. I just was following my furrow. They make these furrows, and
Yeah.
and so I was just following my furrow head down, just not even paying attention. And I had gone probably halfway into this other guy's
Peace.
piece, and he came flying at me. He was not too happy about it, eh? And then I was just like, I didn't do it on purpose. It was just a
It's the
mistake.
scarifying machine, man. It's not your fault.
Yeah. Anyways, it was Camels Came to Blows. It was one of my least proud moments. But you kind of do lose your. You have bugs all over. Like we went in the springtime in Northern Ontario, so like you have bugs all over you all the time. And we have our like duct tape wrists and stuff like that. I noticed in your video you showed the one scene where you had all the dragonflies all over your shirt.
That was crazy.
Now they were not pinned; they were just on your shirt, right?
Yeah, they weren't biting me. They weren't doing anything, but it was just at one particular area. For some reason, I don't know if it's water levels, amount of heat, something, they just spawned unbelievably. These fish flies were absolutely everywhere.
Oh, those were fish
Those
flies.
were fish flies. And every step I took, a cloud of them came up and landed on me. Like, they weren't biting me or anything, but it just came. I had to take out my camera and get a shot of it because I was just constantly covered all day.
Oh, because we used to get dragonflies, and then if you get a dragonfly that would hang around you all day, they would pick black flies off your face and off your shirt and stuff like that. And if you could get them to hang around you, they were the best friends you'd have because you'd get a reprieve from the black flies.
I'll give you a little trick. You catch a dragonfly, you get it in a freezer.
Yeah.
You got to not damage it, so you got to like get an ice cream bucket when it's against a wall and do that and put a piece of paper under it,
Okay, yeah.
Get it in the freezer, it'll knock it out.
Yeah.
Okay, then you can tie dental floss around its tail,
Really?
right?
We're going
And
with
then
that.
and then when you warm it up, it just comes back to life. That's how they survive the winters, I'm sure, something like that.
This is
Right?
your
So then you've got a dragonfly on a goddamn leash.
now have
You walk around. got
you
this
don't have
dragonfly
freezers though
eating-
in the bush though, would you?
Well, back at camp we do.
Yeah. No,
You got to think ahead. You got to get your army. So now imagine you got 7 dragonflies on leashes flying around you.
Yeah.
That's an alternative to a bug net.
You are your boss by that point in time. No one's messing with you.
No
I
one's
would love
messing
it.
with you.
A whole
Look
legion
at
of
this guy. He's
dragonflies.
got a leash of dragon. Like he's obviously advanced.
You're
in
like a
this.
Kinda like
gladiator
Aqu-
with all the lions, but you've just got like 7 dragonflies on.
Oh
dental
yeah, like
floss.
Aquaman of the dragonflies, where you can control them. That actually would be like that is great. We'd talk about pinning them onto a shirt, but I would just pierce it through their their bodies, and then forcefully make them like just intimidate the black flies. That's what we would do, which was terrible to the peaceful dragonfly.
That's terrible.
I was a
you know
young
what?
man. I
You
didn't
know
know
what?
any better.
You're gonna be honest with me like that. I'll be honest with you. As soon as you tie the dental floss around their waist, they can't fly. They can't fly at all. It's really sad. So by the time you get to the 7th one, you're
just
starting to feel really bad.
So this is like walking a dog. You're just getting the ones on the ground.
You just have them hanging off of you, eh? Just a bunch of dead
Just
dragonflies.
dragging a bunch of dragonflies around. That's
Yeah.
when you start calling them dragonflies.
Dragonflies. There you go. Yeah.
Wait.
What happens when you bring a poet in, boys?
Oh, darn it. I really missed it. That's what I should have done. That's what I should have done. Live my life in regret.
That's all right.
All right. So, where have you been tree planting?
I've planted in every province except the shitty ones. No.
Does that include ours?
No, I've planted in every province from New Brunswick to Alberta. So BC, I mean, I would say as much planting goes on in BC as the entire rest of Canada.
And you haven't planted there?
And I haven't planted there because it's a different ball game.
Oh,
You're
really?
kind of doing one or you're doing the other. There's some similar stuff, but when you get out to the coast, it's like really slanty land, and the trees are much bigger, and the quality specs are higher, and it's just a completely different style. Whereas what I'm doing now, it's like pretty flat land, lower tree price, and just speed.
Right.
It's like an endurance. It's like trying to run a marathon every day.
And I got 8 cents a tree when I did it.
Yeah.
8 cents a tree. That was like 20 years ago, though, so like it's a long
Yeah.
time ago.
The least I've been paid is 7 cents a tree. That's just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. My boss stole most of it from us again, from playing cards and and then also from being a dick. Those are the other 2 ways he stole money from us. Nickel and diming us all the thing, But anyways, it was a good learning experience, and it should have been a good way to make money if I was with a more reputable company. But
Yeah.
what I liked about it is that you really do get to see the world kind of like untouched in a way, like. Even on your way out to the part where we touched it, that we're trying to fix it.
exactly,
But you get to be a part of something that you just don't ordinarily get to see.
It's cool that you can be like planting up to the tree line and then just like take your bags off for a second, walk a few steps into the tree line, and then you're like, it's possible that pretty much no one has ever been here.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Especially if you got there by helicopter access.
What province was that in?
Alberta.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of that in Alberta. Manitoba, I've done a lot of that too.
And you get in like situations where a lot of times, there's always tree planting love, like romance.
Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, right? And I know in my crew there was only 3 girls, and 2 of them found romance. The other one was aggressively went after me and my bedmate. I slept in a single bed, like a twin,
Right.
Me and another grown man, football player guy. We shared this bed in a hunting cabin, and then at 4:00 in the morning, my watch alarm would go, and I had to roll over and whisper in this guy's ear, time to wake up, Mike.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
So I did find out that I'm a heterosexual man. After
Good to know.
after 8 weeks of sleeping with another grown man, who was handsome. Like there's nothing taken away from this
wasn't
guy. He
about
looked like
that,
a young Jack Johnson. He was
really?
good looking guy. Good looking guy. I had no reason. I never even made a move on him. Not
Jack
even a half of
Johnson
him.
and plays sports.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
He's a
cat.
fireman now. He's like
package, eh?
He's a fireman.
Oh yeah, I can see my
Jesus.
wife. He's a friend of mine on Facebook. I see my wife going through my Facebook thing, and when his pictures come up, she stays a little longer.
Yeah.
A little longer. I know the kind of guy he is. He's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
actually,
you hate those guys though a little bit?
yeah, but he's a nice guy.
I mean,
That's
a guy
the problem.
like you must just hate those guys.
Because of my ugliness. Yeah, Back in those days, though, it was beautiful. I was like an Adonis.
I can see it.
Oh, back in those days,
I can
what was this be? 1990, probably 94,
Oh yeah.
maybe 92 even.
You would have been killing it.
Oh, handsome! I never seen a more handsome guy back then. But then a lot of hard years have taken all that and just made this.
Yeah.
I don't take any care of myself.
That's okay.
That's okay. I know. So what I want to say is, like, you're out there in the middle of the wilderness and you keep doing it. You're making music. You've decided to make music your living, right?
Right. Exactly.
There's no other job. You're not sitting in a cubicle
You gotta
somewhere.
kind of find a balance between it, you know, because planting can give you freedom. That's when you get good. That's what it gives you is time, you
Right.
know. So it can give you time to write, and it can give you time to go on tour. It can give you time to do those kinds of things. But you can't keep doing it forever because the summer is right when you want to
Yeah.
be doing it. So I'm pulling back on the tree planting and pulling up on the on the music. So we're touring nationally in the summer. It's gonna be really exciting.
Touring.
Nationally. So we're starting in Edmonton, going to Vancouver,
And when do you do the
covering the
European
whole
tour?
country. That's in October.
Wow. And where are you going then when you go on your tour?
Late September, we're actually starting in Ireland. We're doing like 5 dates in Ireland, and then we're going to the UK for 10 days, and then we're taking the ferry to France and going down to Italy and up through Croatia, Germany.
And did your manager set this up?
Frankie, yeah.
Yeah, Frankie set all this up, eh?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean,
so you're doing it for
it's,
free?
well, I mean, it's like typical Frankie. Like, I don't know. You may not have met Frank. I don't know if you've
I
seen
know
the
Frankie
videos.
from only from YouTube.
You've seen the videos, okay?
Yeah.
That's a glimpse into the world of Frankie. So it's like we're going on tour, you know, and that's in Europe, and I accept that that's going to happen. But I also know that there might be more to it than that.
Is he going with you?
Heck no.
No.
He doesn't even know who I am half the time when I call him. Like he's not in the shotgun of the truck.
No. Does Frankie book where you stay?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah?
And he had us stay with his uncle Mular on this trip, and it was like ridiculous.
You stayed at his house?
Well, he's like, you can stay at my uncle Mular's place, you know. So I showed up and I took the key from under the flower pot and went in, and the guy had a shotgun to Mike's head.
Mike's your drummer.
Yeah, Mike's a drummer. You see
Yeah,
him back
there's Mike back there. Hey, let's hear it for Mike.
Mike.
You know, he came all the way here. Oh, sorry.
So it's like, and I'm like, dude, you know, this is what happened. We went in and he had a gun to Mike's head, and he's like, who's Mike? So, you know, he's dim.
You're not getting the best representation, I don't think.
Well, no, but I mean, I believe in him and he believes in me.
Right.
And I've already given him so much money
yeah.
that I don't really have a choice.
Well, once you give him the money, then it's easy to believe in you.
Exactly.
That's what I find.
Exactly, yeah.
If you give me a bunch of money, I'll believe in you as well.
Well, I don't know.
Come on.
I'm in a contract. we wrote it in pencil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can't go back on that.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, that's more than we have
It's
here.
better than my word.
All these people are just here due to the fact that I know stories about them I promise not to tell on air.
You're here to make sure you don't.
Yeah, that's the only reason they're here.
That's awesome.
So you're in Simcoe tonight, so which is our big metropolis of Norfolk County, which we
So
started.
if everybody gets in their time machines,
Goes back 2
goes
days
back
and
2
come.
days, they can come out to the show.
Honestly, I will by word of mouth bring as many people as this show will bring tonight anyway. So
Nice,
we'll still
perfect.
try to fill it up as best we can.
Perfect. Well, there's also we're playing in Toronto on Wednesday night. So if your time machine only goes back one day,
Yeah.
as I've heard some models only go back one day, they can come and see us in Toronto.
And then you're also in Ottawa.
And then we have Thursday off. Friday we're going to Sudbury.
Oh,
We're
Sudbury.
playing the Townhouse in
Nice.
Sudbury.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I've never been to Sudbury. No.
Oh, Sudbury's killer.
Yeah. The girls are getting Finkel and the boys are getting Stinkle. You know that? What is that?
I don't know about that. I don't think I've ever
On
heard
a
of that.
Sudbury
Fancies up
Saturday
there? Is
night.
it
What?
Fancies?
That's Stompin' Tom Connors. That's Stompin' Tom
Stompin'
Connors.
Tom. What
The
you guys-
Sudbury Saturday night. You're not a Stompin' Tom fan?
You guys are too young for me. I don't know these references.
Oh yeah. I saw Stompin' Tom at Lulu's. I went ape shit for the song Tilsonburg. I had to tell everyone in the crowd that I was brought up on a tobacco farm for that song because I felt it was important that they all knew it. right?
Oh.
I think booze had a little bit
There's
to
a
do
lot
with
of
that.
tobacco around here. Or there was.
No, there
right?
still is.
They're, like
There is.
flipping it around to wine country.
My co-host here is a tobacco farmer. I don't know if you know that.
Holy moly. Well, we're a real live tobacco farmer.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
Pennsylvania.
That's what they
That's
look
what they
like.
look like.
Yeah. You never think they'd look like that, but that's what they look like. Yeah.
Right here.
All of them.
Where's
Born and
the
bred,
tail
born
and the
and bred.
devil horns?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we are quite vilified in the agricultural community down here in Norfolk.
Why?
Tobacco. It's just bad.
Oh,
A bad
all
word.
the yeah, right.
you
All
know?
the yeah.
They don't like to hear about it. And for years, the tobacco farmers did pretty well financially, and then compared to the other
All right.
commodities, and so therefore they were always. If you're not in this community, you're not as big a supporter of the tobacco farmers as you are here in this community. you
Yeah,
know?
totally.
Like I worked in agriculture for years, and when we'd go outside the area, they would always complain about the tobacco farmers, and I would always be shocked because in the area, everybody I talked to was a tobacco farmer, so they were all really sensitive to the issues that applied to them because
Right.
people love themselves,
Of course.
But outside the world, no one gives a care because.
Oh, nice
You
one.
wanna clean that?
Nice one.
Clean that
that was a YouTube.
Yeah, that's
like,
for YouTube. I
that's-
give a
you're
care.
getting ready for the YouTube days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could switch it up. If it ever goes south, you can always switch it up to kale.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
Sister
plan.
loves kale.
Actually, but yeah, and I think people are always looking for what they can do to balance it out because I don't think tobacco, for the most part, I don't think people see it as a forever crop or whatever. Do you? What do you think?
Well,
I know it's
your
getting into
year
it.
now, so yeah, we don't need to get into it.
Yeah.
I hear they're doing a lot of wine here now.
Yeah, they do wine and they put in some fruit trees and stuff like that. Originally, before tobacco moved in, we were a wine region, and also we had peach trees and pear trees and stuff like that. But tobacco was such a lucrative crop that when
Right,
it moved
yeah.
in, they pulled out all the fruit and put in tobacco.
I love pears, dude. Honestly, pears like in a salad.
What
with
about
blue
tobacco?
cheese.
Pears, blue cheese, and walnuts. Put a little tobacco on
Put a
top
little
of it.
bit of tobacco in that salad.
Yeah, it's
sprinkle
delicious.
On there and away you go.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, nicotine. It's great. You should try it. So the last thing I like about you is that
The last thing you like about
It's the
me.
last thing I like about you. The very last thing I like about you was the fact that sorry, I just meant I want to talk to you about this.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really like it about you, but so is that the fact that you're trying to build something here in today's day and age? There's so much, like in any sort of entertainment business, there's so much to pull from. Like that, it's hard to differentiate yourself from other people that people will notice you, regardless of your talent and regardless of how accomplished you are. It's still hard for people to notice that talent, and so. What do you do to be able to kind of break through all the other voices that are out there right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
I see some of what you're doing, like as far as those clips that you put on YouTube of where you're
Frankie?
where you and Frankie, or you're reading fan mail, or
Yeah.
where you're doing like we're not just your music.
Yeah.
I think that's important because you're building a relationship with your audience, and they feel more personally connected to you as a person versus
Yeah.
just whereas back, say, even 10 years ago, people didn't have to do that, and not
No.
many people were doing it.
It's true, yeah, and they would let their music videos and stuff speak for them, but the music videos tended to be directed by someone and have a big. It wasn't necessarily them, You
Yeah.
had some people like Bowie who would be making really big statements and stuff like that
Yeah.
with their. But yeah, I do think that it's important to let people see stuff besides just the music, because I mean, the show is an experience that's more than just the music. There's storytelling, there's banter, there's stuff going on, and as much as you want the music to just speak for itself, with this particular project, I mean, me and the music are basically inseparable. So yeah, we do little videos and stuff like that. But I mean, to be honest with you, I worried about that a lot more when I was living in Toronto and I was like 24, 25, and I was like, okay, I got my music going. How are we gonna do this? What is the video that I can put online that's gonna break me out and make me a star? And in recent years, I've just realized that that's kind of time wasted. Not that I wasted the time, but that's not how I want to focus my energy. All my energy at the moment is being focused on being the best singer, songwriter, producer that I can be, and live performer.
And then if you're comfortable with the art that you're putting out, then
I'm confident that if I can get it to a high enough level, people are going to discover it. If you fall in love with somebody, you're probably going to start telling your friends about that person,
Yeah.
And if you fall in love with a piece of music or with a TV show or with a concept, which is what this could be seen as, people are going to tell their friends about it. So you just keep putting it out there. It's just like falling in love in so many ways. You don't go out there and be like, I'm gonna fall in love tonight. This is gonna be the night. I'm definitely gonna find the person.
Right,
you just
right.
go out and be yourself and put out a great vibe and trust that you're gonna find the right person. So that's like what I'm doing. But instead of looking for one person, I'm looking for
Has there been a part of your
hundreds of
history where you've been
thousands.
challenged by the fact that it's not been as lucrative as you would hope it would be, or because it's not like, have you ever questioned your commitment to doing it for a living?
Yeah, definitely. I've had several crises of faith for sure.
And what gets you through it?
The belief that it's just I can't see any reason why I can't do it. You know, it's I don't mean that as a cocky thing to say. I don't think that I'm the most talented person around at all. I think the thing that I have is maybe a bit of a naive belief. I mean, I literally don't see why I can't be a successful musician and why people wouldn't want to buy these records, especially if it keeps getting better and better and if I put focus and hard work into it. And so I think people might see that and be inspired by that to do their own thing. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And
Did you find when you met some of the other people, like when you snuck in backstage and met those
that was a huge part
acts, then you see them as regular people, and
That was absolutely a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Kevin Drew from Broken Social Scene, front guy Broken Social Scene, was a really generous guy. You know, he sat down with me and we chatted about stuff. And I was just some 19-year-old kid who snuck my way in backstage.
Right,
you
right.
know, and that's when I started to realize, you know, these guys are just real, genuine people. And then through a roundabout way in the tree planting thing, I actually met Ed Robertson from the Bare Naked Ladies. Not to sit here and name drop, but
I like it.
it's part of
I'm
explaining.
gonna tag it on my show
It's-
too. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just part of explaining how, you know, to answer your question.
No, I know.
You know, sitting down with Ed, I mean, it's hard to find somebody in Canadian music who has had more success financially or in terms of number of people they've played in front of, or really artistic integrity. I mean, Bare Naked Ladies have put out some of the best pop songs in Canadian music. And, you know, Ed, just sitting down and talking with him, I was like, this guy's just a regular person who's just doing what he loves, being honest with it, working hard. And he told me all about how they started out in their early days. And of course, there's going to be lucky breaks here and there. But if you're not in the game, then you can't get those lucky breaks.
Right.
So the whole challenge is to just remain in the game until those breaks come up.
Right,
you know,
right.
And try to get better every single day. So, I mean, maybe I'm naive, but
Why the hell can't you do it?
Yeah,
why can't I do it?
Exactly.
Well,
Somebody
yeah.
can say why I can't do it, then I'll quit.
Yeah,
Somebody's like, you can't do it because of this.
Yeah. So far, there's no good reasons. It's the same even with this show. It makes no sense that I do it, but I keep doing it every week, and then I just like it, you know?
Well, that's
and
the
then
other
I keep
thing
trying
is
to get better.
I just love doing this, you know. And me and Mike are coming out on tour. We're having a great time doing this. We get to come and chat with you guys, and you're telling more people about the music and checking it out. And then every now and then I do get emails or tweets or something like that from people being like, was listening to the song in the car today, and it just, you know, I was feeling down, and then I listened to the song. It reminded me of my girlfriend, and I just thanks for putting that out. And I'm like, those little stories are happening all the time now. It's getting a little bigger than what I even know is going on.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, and
Yeah, that's
that
the thing.
gives you motivation. You know?
Because for every person that reaches out to you, there's probably 100 more that don't feel it's their place or whatever, you
don't
know?
have- yeah, exactly.
I know for me, all the people I've been fans of, I've probably reached out to almost zero of them, you know, like, which is
Yeah,
a terrible thing to
exactly.
say, you know, now being on the other end of
It's
it, you know?
just, I mean, then you just know how it works, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I will say is that it can be a real challenge in the modern scene. I mean, you know, we had a guy come up to us after the show the other day, and he was in his 50s, and he had money for sure. And he was coming up, he was like, you guys are doing great. You're out here doing this thing. And, I'm proud of you guys for going out and doing the music industry and stuff. And I was like, thanks so much. He's like, and I really enjoyed the show. I was like, cool. Well, would you be interested in buying a CD? We have CDs for sale for $10. And he's like, nah, I'll pass. So, like, you know, you came, you didn't even pay into the venue. You saw the show for free.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were emotionally affected by it. You really enjoyed it. Enough so that you would come up and comment on it. You have money.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, like, you know how hard this is.
Yeah.
You commented on that, and then you don't want to actually turn that in. So I think that is a prevailing thing in entertainment, really, is
Yeah.
that people want it now and they want it free.
Yeah.
And, so we just got to figure out a way to monetize it, not to become millionaires, but just so that we can
Just buy a
keep
t-shirt
creating
for heaven's
content.
sakes, you know? Just buy a t-shirt. It's not-
$15 for a t-shirt.
Everyone likes t-shirts.
Totally.
You just wear it under your shirt if you don't like it.
Still counts.
It still counts.
Exactly.
I still get the money.
Wear it at night.
So I just want to make sure that we can tell people how to find you, Milo, so we can go.
The best thing is go to milomcmahon.com because then I have links to all my social media. Is that
Okay.
what you were gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say MiloMcMahon.com,
Go
but
figure.
MiloMcMahon.com, if we say it a lot of times, like MiloMcMahon.com, then it's more
MiloMcMahon.com.
likely to stick in people's heads, MiloMcMahon.com, right?
MiloMcMahon.com.
And it's got everything you need.
MCMAHON.
Right.
That's even like, you know what I mean? That's like I spelled it.
And so they have no reason not to get it. And plus, they're going to flash it on the screen on YouTube so that we'll be able to see it, all that
Says
stuff.
it right here, MiloMcMahon.com.
Right down there. Right down there. We can do it like
Subscribe
that.
here.
Click here.
This is the time right now.
All right. So we got Milo. So I can't thank you enough for coming in today. We're just going to wrap it up. I want to do one quick word association game with you. Are you okay with it?
Oh man,
I'm kind of making it up as I go along too, so I'm going to wing it for the end of the show.
I feel like I miss Sunday night improv now that I'm here, so now I get my. Sunday
It's a
night
would you
improv.
rather. This is would you rather, okay?
Okay.
We'll end it, and then you might want to get your guitar ready.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Are you gonna have Milo?
all right. So I'm going to tell you, give you two scenarios. You say which one you would rather, okay? Would you rather get booed off of stage by a packed house
Yeah.
or be confronted with a grizzly bear tree planting?
I'd rather get booed off by a full house.
What about a black bear?
I would take on the black bear.
And
I've taken on black bears before.
they're easier, right?
Yeah.
But what do you do with a grizzly? Nothing, right?
No, you fall on the ground. You take your shovel and put it across your neck, and you put your face down.
Yeah.
And you try it because a grizzly bear will kill you, but it might not eat you right away. But as a territory thing, a grizzly will kill you.
Oh, so
it'll only stop when it thinks you're dead. So if you can sell that you're dead, the quicker you can sell that, the quicker it might stop.
and pooping your pants helps do that, right? Because that
Maybe.
tends to be a way when you die, you evacuate your bowels. That's
a good call. I don't know if they've like read that. Maybe they have sixth sense about that. But
well, they have good noses. They're animals. I would say poop your pants. That's just my thing. I'm adding it in.
Poop
but-
my pants
You
and
gotta
fall
turn it
over. And the thing about getting booed off the stage is like, look at Dylan, look at Neil Young. Those guys got booed off the stage more times than. Definitely more times
Yeah.
than I ever have been.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to getting booed off. That's how I know I'm at least be goddamn doing something.
I think it'd be great. I like the wrestling aspect of it. To be able to go into a place and get and make the crowd hate you, like really, really go after it. It's, to me, that's like a big rush. You know, I'd love to do that someday.
But
Dare
they
to
got
dream.
booed off not because their performances were weak, but just because they weren't playing the material that the people wanted them to play. You know?
Yeah, when Radiohead won't play Creep or something like that, and they got to put up with that crap.
Yeah.
Okay, what smells worse? Your hockey bag at the end of a long season of hockey, or tree planting romance? If you know what I mean. This kind of tree planting romance.
What kind again, Pete?
This kind.
Oh, that kind.
The circle and the stick. You know the circle and the stick?
I
Yeah,
was
that kind.
I was so young when I was playing hockey. I don't even think I was sweating. I'll go with tree planting romance.
All right, I want to just end it there because tree planting romance. I don't even think of a third one. So I want to thank everyone for listening. I would like to thank my guest Milo McMahon for coming in. Thank my bartender. Thank Mike for coming in too. Mike, the drummer. We never got a chance to introduce. Great guy from Nova Scotia, right, Mike? Thanks for coming in today. We got Nocturnal Emissions, Mike Bowe. I'm Pete Van Dyk. You can reach out to me at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Dutch Hall on Twitter. Like my page on Facebook, Live from Dutch Hall on Facebook. I think I even have. I'm gonna get better at doing my Instagram thing. I have one Dutch Hall.
Tweet it up, dude.
Yeah, I think Twitter's just enough, right?
Insta tweet. I don't know.
Insta tweet. You can link them.
Link them, dude.
Well, anyways, that's our show for this week. Let's everyone take care of each other and have a good time. Milo, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming in. I did it once at the end. At the end.
Thanks for having me, man.
Anyways, thank you, and we'll see you all next week. Awesome, man. Cheers, buddy. That was great. It was a lot of fun.
This is the part where we pretend we're having a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes they go to red.